São Paulo! Antes da gente começar a final entre LGIM e Anexis, primeiro tem um recadinho para vocês. Por favor, pare de mostrar as placas, pelo menos na final, que está atrapalhando. Agora com isso, eu vou começar a entrevista pela LGIM. I'll start interviewing LGIM. So please welcome to the stage, Lilac. Lilac, what's the secret to win the Brazilian crowd? Qual é o segredo para ganhar a torcida brasileira?
브라질 사람들이 너무 좋아해요, IEM을. 그 비밀이 뭔지.
아무래도 이제 IEM이 LOL뿐만 아니고 스타크래프트도 있는데 그 영향이 약간 있지 않나 싶어요.
Ele acha que o IEM também tem o StarCraft 2, que é bem famoso também, mas ele acha que a line de LoL dele também representa bem.
He says that IEM is a pretty famous StarCraft team, and there's Brazilian fans as well of that, but LoL is very good as well. Thank you, 감사합니다. Do you have a message for the fans?
말할 거 마지막으로.
Thank you, Brazil.
Now, please welcome to the stage, Graham. Graham, the Koreans apparently have won the crowd, but you've played against the crowd before, so what do you plan to do now? Você jogou já contra a plateia e ela parece não ter feito muito efeito. O que você vai fazer agora?
Brazilian team won against Korean, and we are going to do the same.
Time brasileiro ganhou contra a Coreia, a gente vai fazer o mesmo. Do you have a message for people watching you here in Brazil as well?
Cheer for us, like for your teams.
Torçam para nós, façam os times. Now we are going to our English game analysis desk. Please stay tuned.
Thank you very much. Yes, the crowd here have been fantastic. I just want to say something actually to the guys that are here out in the crowd right now. We love you, Brazil. Obrigado.
So now I just feel like an ass for not doing it. And you guys are all doing it.
So it is grand final time here at the Intel Extreme Masters in Brazil, coming to you live from the campus party in Sao Paulo. It is LGIM versus Anexis. Now these guys, before we get into the game actually, let's just take a very quick look in a moment. We have now got 12 teams qualified for the World Championship, so let's get that out of the way first off and tell you officially now the 12 teams that have reached CBIT on the 5th to the 9th of March. There they are on your screen right now. SK Telecom T1, Meet Your Makers, Gambit Gaming, Absolute Legends still have a spot if they want it, Fnatic, SK Gaming, Blaze and Frost, Team EG, who were CLGEU, Millennium, and of course those finalists, Anexis and Incredible Miracle. So with that out of the way, we now know, part of the story this weekend was who else is going to qualify for the grand final. So now we get to focus on this, which is the first place trophy for the winners of the Intel Extreme Masters Brazil. They've already played once, guys, and it was a bit of a stomp last time, 35 minutes and 12 seconds, over pretty quickly.
It was very one-sided.
It was very one-sided, and two men stood out in particular for me. One was Lilac and one was Mid King, and Anexis are going to have to do something a bit different this time, Jason.
Yeah, I have to agree. I mean, one thing that we've been seeing this entire time is Lee Sin's been let through. I mean, it's obviously not Mid King or Lilac top lane, but they've been letting that jungle get through. They're letting them play comfortable champions. We've seen a lot of Rumble out of, both teams have actually played him quite a bit. We saw Jace. You just can't let them play their comfortable champions to force them to play something that they don't want to. But the problem is you only have 6 bans.
Yeah. Okay. So Riv, just looking through the Incredible Miracle team last time they played Anexis, Misfortune, Lee Sin, Sona, Rumble, Jace. They've got to disrupt that somehow.
Yeah, the Rumble was actually picked because, it was taken on the other team the first time in the match they had. But they used it to exceptional precision when they had it in that top lane, when Lilac was able to come out with it. Also, his Xin was banned out, so they were forced to go for that Rumble. So you can see just the dominance of LGIM in their champion pool. They tried to ban him out, but they're now picking the other team's champions. So you say, you ban me out, we'll just pick the champions you want then.
Yeah, absolutely. Just looking at their picks last time in Nexus, it was Zyra, Amumu, Karthus, Urgot, and Aurelia. I'd imagine that they'll be looking for something slightly different this time around. The bans picks have begun, so let's get that up on your screen. First ban has already come in, and it is for Lux being put out, and Jace on the other side.
Wow, these bans are actually going quite fast.
They are coming quite quickly. Bear with us, we will get this on your screen shortly. Olaf is the third ban, and that's by LGIM. So they've banned out Lux and Olaf.
You still have Kha'Zix, you still have Elise up, you still have Rumble up, which...
Well, there we go. So that Jason Rumble is the combination that they used last time, which Riv already said. They've got to ban those out, and they've done that.
Oh, can we expect a Lee Sin ban then?
May expect a Lee Sin. Xin will probably on the table as well. The Amumu is still out, free and roaming. And AD carries have been focused quite a bit this tournament in the bans, as the Ezreal and Misfortune are still up. You said the Kha'Zix J, it has been banned out. Zaxxas discussing with the team.
Their most banned is...
And they are.
Ezreal, but it's going to be Lee Sin. Wow. That's
so
big,
Ring gets a bit of respect there.
Yeah, there's some big champions out there.
But Zen being picked up, he's been played actually quite a bit this tournament. Really impressed with his entire performance so far. That ultimate has just always been so crucial in most of these team fights. LGM knows how to play him, so does Anexis, but they got that first pick, so they got to lock him in first.
Yep.
But Misfortune, like you were saying, left open.
Yep.
Looks like Anexis wants to give her a go.
That Amumu is open. We've seen the Misfortune being run quite a bit with Sona this game as well, because of the disengage that it also brings to the table. And Jat, makes a comment about Amumu, is that usually when Amumu goes in, whoever's team Misfortune is on, she has a selection of people to shoot. So it's good on either team, even without that Amumu ult, if you don't get it.
I have to say, though, one thing I've been kind of confused about is just how the Amumu ultimates have been used. They seem to not be used to their full potential. We've seen, actually, in the first game, Pain versus Nex, we saw him not miss, but he would hit one, maybe two people every time. And then that final one he actually did land, hit 4 members, and ended up getting them the entire game. In the last game with Mutual Makers, same thing happened with Makade. I mean, he only hit 1 or 2 most of the time, and it really just created a downward spiral. But Nunu getting locked in, and as we see a Cho'Gath and Ezreal being sat on the other side.
Big front lineup they have coming out there. Especially, I like the Cho'Gath pick coming in from Ring. That it's an easy pop-up for either alt stop. Both channels from Zaxxas, or for Misfortune, I should say, and Nunu can be stopped by this team right now. He can just shut him up with the shout, or he can pop him up in the air. So that is a great pick to disable 2 champion channels.
I wouldn't be too surprised if they actually run Ryze mid lane as well with LGM's lineup currently. But then again, you have to send Cho'Gath somewhere unless you want to send Lilac top yet again with his Xin Zhao. We did see him use that previously and just decimated Meteor Makers.
I think it's not unlikely that Anexis would have sat and watched that last game with Incredible Miracle where Ryze was used to deadly effect on mid king and went something like 9-0-7 in the mid lane. So chances of it, they'll like to look at that, but did they take it away from them?
They haven't yet. There's not a necessary need for Ryze. There is one gap closer coming in from Lilac right there, and you can somewhat shut down an Ezreal, but it was really against the Ahri pick to shut down an Ahri in middle. She's going to Spirit Rush into your team as you just lock her up. They may still choose to go with Ryze because that was, for lack of a better words, an amazing game for him, 12-0-8.
Yep. Their most picked champions so far are Zyra, Lee Sin, and Ezreal.
Wow. They are putting a lot of tank on this team.
That's a problem, though.
We haven't seen Shen quite a bit. Yeah, we've seen where teams have a little bit too much armor and not enough damage.
Yeah, that's really an iffy lineup so far. They need to at least lock in someone that has a reset built into it, so maybe a Katarina or just someone who can put out a lot of damage, maybe even a Ryze.
There's Ryze.
As they do see LGM picking it up, so I was expecting them to go for that, and they in fact did. So that is just a devastating team comp to go up against. I can't even look at it right now. It's just that scary.
It's a sweet pickup because it rounds out the fact that they didn't have a super duper end game. You're going to have a full-fledged tank team coming at you, and when MF gets that Black Cleaver with everybody else on the team, they're going to be able to shred, but that's late game. They just got that with Ryze. That's a great pickup, and they still have early game with Xin Zhao.
And even, the thing is, if you go with Ryze, they can just run past Shen, run past a move. They're not really worried. They won't be taking a lot of damage at this point.
Right.
So what's stopping them from actually getting to Misfortune? You don't really have enough CC to do that. But, LGM, they have a great mix of tank, great mix of damage, and, Anexis only has that mix of tank, but they do have that last pick, should be going that middle lane, and I'm not really sure who they're going to pick up here because you're kind of limited on what you can go for now.
Right. Well, Paul, you made mention to the Ryze being explosive. They like it.
Yeah, well, it's funny, actually, because Zyra was actually their most picked player alongside Ezreal, and Ryze was so promising last time. We've got a last pick, and it is going to be very interesting for Anexis.
Yeah, that Wukong is I mean, it's a perfect setup because you have a Mumu to lock him down, you have Nunu to kind of keep him there, you have Shen to taunt them, you have a knock-up from Wukong, but still, the thing is, they're still lacking a lot of damage.
So, 2 lineups, both looking a little tasty, I have to say. I would think that overall, Incredible Record will be very happy with the way that theirs is lined up. They hadn't got the Jace and the Rumble in there, but it doesn't really matter for them. It's still a great composition. And on the other side, Anexis, I think they'll be quite happy as well, won't they, Riv?
I think they will be, and a lane swap may even come into play here. We've seen a lot of mid-lane swaps as well as we start to tick down. I like the pick of the AD champions. Again, there's a lot of heavy AD being used here in the Season 3 as that attack damage is cheaper and armor is a bit more expensive. So you're going to have these assassins like, not assassin, but Wukong to jump in and just bruiser your face down. And you know what? When he is fed enough, he will be able to assassinate you. And with the amount of pop-up from Anexis, I'm really interested to see how LG is going to initiate these fights.
Okay, thank you very much for now, gentlemen. We'll be back after this particular map. It will be a best of 3 grand final, of course, and this is the grand final of the Intel Extreme Masters Brazil. It's LGIM versus Anexis.
Thank you very much, guys, and welcome to the commentary booth here with myself, Joe Miller, and the lovely David Freak Turley.
Lovely.
The amazingly gorgeous David Freak Turley. How are you doing today, Freak?
Amazing now. Aww.
You know there was a screenshot taken at some point in that, and it will be on Reddit, I'm for sure. I know that. So we were talking pre-game about this one, while the picks and the bans is still, all into that kind of thing. Aww.
Joe, that's so sweet of you.
But these 2 team comps, you said you made an egg and basket statement about Anexis.
So Anexis has 5 eggs, and they're all in exactly 1 basket. And that is the, oh my god, 5-on-5 team fight, kill them all with AoE basket. We'll see if it works.
Will it work? Do you think it's going to work? Have Anexis got that? I mean, this is one of the most team play, obviously team fight oriented, but also coordination, communication, everything has to be spot on for this to be pulled off.
They've got 2 very small fallback plans. They certainly, the way they win is by getting good ults together, but they've got 2 small fallback plans to make these fights work a little bit better. One of these is the fact that they have a global teleport from Shen and no such response from LGIM, so they can repeatedly force 4v5s as long as they don't get bursted and killed before Shen teleports in. So they have a little bit of stuff there, and they've got the harder scaling AD carry. They've got Blood Boil on a Misfortune. Now, she's got to worry about a little bit of Xin Zhao dive, but generally speaking, unless Lilac crushes his lane, Arquel and Zaxxas are going to be kind of the guys to look for after all said and done. How are they going to do?
What do you think about level 1 here, Freak? Are we going to see any action? I mean, right now on screen we can see that LGIM are all gathered in the south part of the river with all 5 men. We've got Shen on the top side. Can we expect them to be really pushing through for anything here?
Well, LGIM are definitely looking for something aggressive. The difficulty for them is Arquel is going to see them coming and has so much base movement speed being Misfortune that I don't think he's really going to be in danger here. The recall actually coming in. Oh, they're going to lane swap. They're going to send 2 top and just send Shen bottom. And this does bring up some difficulties because they have no ward coverage, and Mumu is starting blue.
Mumu is going to be coming down towards blue. Wukong is there. Shen will be around the party by the time the LGIM do decide to move themselves there in towards this blue buff. There are no wards down there currently, so things could get really, really nasty here coming around for Anexis, especially if this Shen just completely leaves early on.
No, Shen is around. He went clock 5 instead of 7 potions and 2 wards, so he's going to see them coming, but I don't know if it's going to be enough because they might just lead with Rupture.
Here we go then, LGIM starting to move in here. There is the Rupture, he actually will land in on towards Overpower. They're going to try and lock him down. There's the Room Prison. Have they got enough damage? Yes, they have! First blood comes in for Lilac.
That was an amazingly good engage right there. A perfect Rupture landing. Mumu really should have flashed that Rupture. And unfortunately, he did pay for it with his life. LGIM, they are going to actually clear out that camp though, so it will respawn 724.
Great start to the proceedings here for LGIM. We heard that their manager said, you better not lose another map coming into this grand final, otherwise you'll be a disgrace to your country, which is harsh words to be said, but that's kind of the Korean mentality as well that we see not just in League of Legends, in other games as well, and that's something that can really motivate these players. And so far, obviously they've taken down Meet Your Makers 2-0, and this is a great start as well.
And right now, Zaxxas is up against his turret. We're going to see if Cho'Gath looks for a level 3 dive right here. But he's now at kind of what all 1v2 lanes have to face, which is trying to last hit under turret and trying not to get zoned out of experience range. Anexis are actually not shoving. They're just trying to zone Lilac and deal damage to him. Thing is, he's got Crystalline Flask. He's got a Red Elixir. He's not going to really die here. And I feel like Anexis are going to lose their bottom turret. For their sake, I kind of wish they would actually push top lane.
Well, right now, as you said, they're definitely holding that one out, trying to starve Lilac as much as they possibly can, but inevitably that lane is going to start to push through here, and Lilac then will be starting to get himself a little bit of that farm. We've seen in these situations constantly from already months ago, since these lane swaps happening, these 3-man dives, the jungler coming in from behind them from that tri-bush. You think we're going to see that here with the compositions that we've got?
Well, Cho'Gath right now is already looking for the counteraction to that. He cleared his blue buff out, is checking to make sure that Amumu is not looking for anything crazy. Of course, they have that ward down anyway. Ring's going to look for just a... It's actually a really smart move. He's actually wave clearing to help make sure the turret doesn't go down. Lilac's still taking some damage. Yeah, he's running low on potions, but this is actually really good for them. They're going to lose their turret much more slowly. This one, though, down to half already. I don't see dives coming, though. Amumu, he's not really the tower diving type. Xin Zhao has really good escape tools in general. While he's still at full health, I don't see them killing him quite easily. Instead, you're seeing defensive junglers try to stop the kills.
Well, right now, LGIM, as you said, have got this bottom turret down to below 900 health, so they've done a real great job of that one. Not quite the same story in this top lane, but that's exactly what Anexis are going to be aiming for. Middle lane, Ryze versus Wukong. What do you think to the whole mechanic of this lane? I mean, that Rune Prison is going to be Ryze's biggest ally here, surely.
Yeah, at the beginning I would have said this would have been a lane in advantage for Ryze, but you're seeing an early minion kill lead for Celaver's Wukong. That said, he's now against a level 4 blue buff Ryze, who puts out quite a bit of damage, but dang, so does Wukong. So, pretty nice. And Lilac taking a ton of pain right here.
Yeah, this could be really, really bad as Lilac is burning from the Ignite. Actually, it's not the Ignite, it's down, I'm telling a lie. And Arkwell will not quite be able to pick that one up. And again, you talk about the whole rescuing here with these defensive junglers, these more support-type junglers. And that's exactly what's happened here for LGIM.
And I am amazed. Arkwell is the only player I've literally, I think, ever seen not flash for that kill. He said, you know what, if I flash for that kill, I'm going to be overextended and I'm going to die the Cho'Gath in a turret. He said, you know what, I'll just let you get zoned out of experience range and go back trying to shove down Ring right here. I think it's actually the right choice for Misfortune to not give up something by doing that.
Well, in the meantime, they did lose that bottom turret as Arkwell will start to push a little bit more aggressive. Are they going to be able to do more damage to the turret here? And again, Ring with Cho'Gath has got good wave clearing potentially, and you can see the fact that he's been pushed up there on the turret. That's not allowing much time for Misfortune and Nunu to actually get in there as a rupture. He's going to land onto Arkwell. Silence goes down, but won't be able to finish up with a kill.
That silence pretty much kept him alive because Nunu was in range and just had mana enough for an Ice Blast. And when you face up an Ice Blast and a Blood Boiled AD carry, Ring would have probably had to burn Flash there. So the silence was just in range and kept him alive against Nunu.
Unsurprisingly, LGIM, after taking down the outer turret in the bottom lane, are bringing their support and AD carry into this top lane, and they're already starting to beat down on it. Misfortune's going to be a good way away. There's not really a lot that Grom can do right now to save this turret. He knows that he can't afford to get too offensive, although I can't see that LGIM would risk at this stage by diving. But look at the minion wave. They've got more than enough time here to do good amounts of damage to this turret. They may even, in fact, they are going to have it down before they can react to that one. Great play.
That was absolutely amazing. Now, Lilac up against Zaxxas. This is actually a good matchup now for Shen, who's got a bit of a lead here, a level and a half. And as soon as he goes back to base, actually some pretty good items. He's got 1,000 gold.
Yeah, that'll be nice for Shen when he gets back there.
Wukong going in on mid.
Oh, this could be bad news again, but look at the damage there coming out of Ryze. He's burning away, but it's not going to be enough to finish him off. He survives with hardly anything remaining. Lilac in the bottom, though, is also going very low. He will be finished off, and as you said, he's got the level advantage there, Shen, and that is a good matchup for him with the kill, especially now.
That is incredibly important for Anexis because, right, those two backup plans, a Fed Misfortune who's got 58 minion kills, and Zaxxas being stronger than any individual on LGIM, and he is already beating down Lilac. This is really big for him. This is a nice situation for Anexis to be in. They're actually, I would say, in the lead. Regardless of what you see on the gold here, I think they have the tools to win this game.
And Zazas has 1,600 gold to spend here, as we've just seen that blue buff again being taken away. And how important is that in the grand scheme of things here? I mean, you've got a Wukong middle who's not necessarily going to be relying as much on that blue buff, but how does that affect Mumu?
It affects him quite a bit. He rushed for the Philosopher's Stone, which will give him some mana sustain and help him out in the jungle a little bit. But still, you're kind of in the situation where, you're right, Wukong doesn't need it. Mumu, it's hit and miss, because there are some Amumus who are used to giving away their second golem buff and just relying on base mana regen, but you're seeing him be low on mana. You're going to see that if he tries to look for a gank, he's just hit level 6 now, has his ultimate. He's only got enough mana for basically one ability. He's got just 100 mana now to Curse the Sad Mummy. So if he ever gets into a fight out of the jungle, he's going to be really low on mana. It won't contribute much. But otherwise, I think jungle clears themselves will be okay.
And 8 minutes and 40 seconds in, LGIM did just have a bit of a go at Dragon, realizing that Zazas was there. They decided to pull away, and you can see those 3 blue wards on the minimap there, giving them such great vision of anyone that could possibly come in and challenge them when it comes towards this Dragon take.
Yeah, now the top turret has gone down. Misfortune and Nunu, this is smart. They should steal blue right now. They have the tools to do so. They can't really challenge Dragon. That's going to go down to LGIM, but blue buff is theirs. They know there's 4 people at Dragon.
Blue buff is there. They've got Misfortune and Nunu pushing in. Lilac going to get slowed, forced away here by Arkwell, but is this going to be enough time for Rise and Cho'Gath to come around and react? I don't think they'll be able to stop that one from being taken down. Obviously, there is no smite there. Cho'Gath actually will pretty much just ignore that and put a ward down over the other side of the wall, which has been spotted by Anexis. And that's, you know, what really the only counter. Obviously, if your blue's been taken, the only option is to take the enemies.
And actually, this is really funny because LGIM just pinged it as one lizard got left right there. So it's going to be a very asynchronous respawn time. Hopefully, Anexis timed their own blue buff. They did roughly see when it went down, so they'll know it's at 14 and some change. And they're going to have a very, very late, 12 and some change. And there we go. Now both teams will have the respawn timer on this Western blue buff as well.
Have that ward given it. So technically, next time around, Nexus could end up getting both on the other side. So we'll see how that one all works out here. Right now, though, turret advantage, of course, is in the favor of LGIM. Kills bang even. Well, it's 1,000 gold difference. Obviously, that Dragon was taken out earlier on by LGIM. Let's have a look down the items, see what we've got. The 280 carries pretty much identical stuff there. Israel actually got a few more pots and a ward in there, but you know, Doran's Blade. Oh, actually, Lasher here getting caught out in the middle. He's going to get snowballed. There is Curse to the Sad Mummy. He's going to die. That was quick stuff. Rise is actually trying to turn this one back around, but they've just not quite got the damage. And with 4 men there, Rise can't afford to go down either.
Now, he's not tanky just yet. He's got the Catalyst, didn't get the first blood like he did last time, so he's a bit behind on that sort of Rod of Ages compared to what we just saw maybe 20 minutes ago. Celiver, whoa, low on health. Ezreal came across him. A little bit of close stuff there.
What was that? The ghosts. The ghosts were there.
Ooh, we heard the Brazilians actually. They had yelled for that one. They've actually apparently got a better cameraman though. The Brazilian commentators are driving the one in the local arena here.
We saw it coming. We were just like, what's that? Oh, the ping. Someone's low.
Someone's low.
Okay,
yes.
There we go. You know, we have the royalty of usually having a cameraman for us, so that's how it goes on the English side of things. But yeah, that was close. But again, no kill for LGIM, and they've managed to take out that Zyra, which is always a big bonus. Kill now for Shen, kill for Wukong. There are 2 giant spells already. One with Shen, one with the Mumu. On the other side, one with Cho'Gath.
All right, and we're seeing actually the Sunfire Cape is going to be the first sort of build differentiator we see. Cho'Gath going for the Warmogs. I would expect a Mumu to go Warmogs as well, personally. But the big differentiator here, Shen's going for Sunfire, which increases his split push power. And because he's ahead, he's going to do a very good job of sort of winning any fight he's up against. This is still another great move for Zaxxas. We're going to see him. I think he's still going to be one of the big playmakers here for Anexis.
Right now, Lilac having a bit of free farming that bottom, and well, he needs it, to be honest with you. Look at the difference there between Shen and Xin Xiao. 38 to 71. That's a big lead, and we are actually seeing them fight one-on-one in this bottom lane right now. Both losing around about a quarter of their HP. Zazas did back off, but to be honest, I'm not sure if he really needs to there. He certainly has the armor, got the health in there to combat that. He obviously just doesn't feel like he has the damage to take on Lilac.
And they're going to move in a little bit on the Lasha, down to half health, but they're going to go in.
Oh, this is going to be a big fight. Celeber will be the first man to die. They're going to focus around on Grom. That is 2 kills coming down for LGIM. And maybe even more importantly, this middle turret now has only a Mumu there to defend it. He won't be able to, and that is the turret going as well.
Nice move by Lasha, put everything down onto Wukong. The root landed, even despite the decoy, the knockup followed suit, and then he was suddenly revealed. The stealth went away, and then Shogat just took a bite out of Crime and took a bite out of Wukong. I don't know where that came from.
Well, blue buff number 3 here is going to be stolen away by LGIM, this time going on to Rise. And they know, obviously, the timing of their own, but also Anexis know the timing of that blue buff spawn, since they left that one creep there with the ward just to see when they'd take it down. So we'll see if Anexis actually decide to go for that one. Here we see a couple of decent items being picked up. The Ruby Sightstone for Zyra, always a nice thing to have in there, plus that Rod of Ages for Rise. And that's in that last game. As soon as he got the Rod of Ages, that's where we saw that damage really became a hindrance.
Yeah, and so right now you've got a very difficult situation because Mid King is probably going to keep on his throne right here. He's doing an amazing job. Did a great job last game. Last game didn't even die, and he's kind of looking to follow that exact same path here. Celeber being given the red buff. We're going to hope to see him actually use his ultimate next fight because, you know, I like seeing close games. I like underdogs coming through. I really feel like Anexis is the underdog coming into this game, and they're a bit behind, so I want to see him come back a little bit.
Yeah, and I'm really impressed overall. I don't think we really touched on that Anexis, you know, in a tournament where you've got Meet Your Makers and Millennium in there with the Brazilian teams as well, Anexis weren't the team, I think, that people had tipped to come this far and actually be in the grand final against LGIM. So every credit has got to be given over towards Anexis for their performance so far in this tournament. The question really is, though, can you beat LGIM here?
Well, they're certainly putting up a good show. And again, certain players on that team are putting on a great performance. Zaxxas, again, completely outplaying Lilac throughout this game so far. And we're seeing that Misfortune, Arkel, having a great game as well. Got the Bloodthirster finished. Ezreal does as well. But the only reason Ezreal's even close to her in gold and even ahead is because of the turret and dragon pressure his team's put on. So team effort-wise, LGIM are doing amazingly. There's a couple of All-Stars here for Anexis.
Well, here we see Dragon spawning once again. LGIM perfectly in position to be taking that out. There is a ward there, so vision is available for Anexis. No pink ward put down to counter that one, as Zazas actually just getting room prisoned up there. Will taunt himself away. Was smited out there by Ring. And now they're going to be pushing away to see if they can pick up any stragglers here as they move out. Rupture will actually land onto Nunu, but he was far gone from the fight.
Yeah, he's going to be perfectly fine right here. What we're looking at basically is, again, it's the team fight team trying to find the proper team fight. They haven't yet, but here they go. They found Ring.
Yeah, Ring actually having to flash away here. This could be very dangerous. There's a big silence coming in, but how long will it last? Wukong ulti comes down, flashes in on towards Mid King. There is the bullet time. Not quite got the range. That flash really keeping Mid King alive. And Ring just maybe going a one step too far there in that middle lane.
There's still a very good set of crowd control there. A good kill picked up. They burned every ultimate but 2, but as a 5-on-4, they're happy to fight.
Wow, and Mumu actually going straight back in there once again. Got himself a couple of turret hits for the pleasure, but this is going to be an Anexis turret. They've got 3 minions in there as Lilac actually is going to come across. Ezreal ulti doing some decent damage. Zyra ultimate goes down as well. Zazas taking a lot of damage. The question is, can Rise get in position here to actually pick up anything? There's a flash from Lasher. Actually will land the root. Here comes Lilac in there as well, dashing forward. Grom actually puts a lot of damage onto him. Arkwell now needs to escape. Room Prison actually already landed, but there's the Shen ultimate. Stand United just about saving Arkwell.
That was beautiful play right there. They picked up ultimately a 1-for-2 overall. The setup for LGIM was hilarious though. Ezreal had ulted from the side well before they engaged, and right before it landed, all the cooldowns came through, and you saw them just crush Overpower out of nowhere. Great comeback there. Getting the kill on the Lilac, very useful there. 2 Sunflare Capes on the team. We'll see what Anexis can do.
Well, Overpower coming in there, he's going to be enough to scare LGIM away from a possible first, I say first in the turret. They've taken that bottom lane, which I somehow missed earlier on.
Ezreal got it on a split push, I think.
Yeah, I think it was that last fight. He was pushing up that middle lane, so nicely done there by Ezreal. And, well, that's the thing, you know, kills are staying even, but these turrets going further and further into LGIM's favor.
Yes, and that is really where their lead is coming from, because you see minion kills. Just compare right to left. top lane's winning, jungle's winning, mid's close, bottom's close, support 6 minion kill different, not a big deal. So that's a small lead there. Kills 4-4. But you see +2 turrets, you see +2 dragons, and that's a 3,000 gold lead. That is Anexis falling back onto LGIM because they are doing better with global objectives. So that's where the lead is coming from. Those turrets are keeping them in the lead right here. Anexis needs to find an answer to that.
Rice also has had, in that last one, both blue buffs away there as Celiva just about gets the decoy off before the Rune Prison comes in. And now we see the Oracle being picked up by Lasher, so they obviously want to gain a lot of map control from this one. Oracle now, of course, with that time limit on it, is going to be coming. The point is that you really need to utilize it more with that time limit in there, as we are seeing another challenge on for this blue buff. There's the Ezreal ultimate coming across. Blue buff will actually reset the root landing. Zyra ultimate's going to knock pretty much the entire team over. There is Rise getting 1 kill. Paragon will have to cleanse out, but Celiva is in there. He's going to die. Double kill Rise. And where are they going to split to next? It's Shen who goes down to ring. Now Nunu's trying to escape from the side. Rise is hitting everyone except Nunu, but Paragon comes in for the finisher, and that is a 4-0, and they hardly lost health even there, LGIM.
Absolutely amazing play by them, a 4v4 that got them a 4-0 lead off that one. And you kind of saw the same thing as last time where they bursted someone down before he could ult. Celiver, it was 2 fights ago, this time it was Overpow, and he just got chunked down. LGIM, they had timer on the golem buff, they had wards there, and Rupture into Silence into Feast, nothing Overpower could do.
And there we see once again why Rise might be a smart pick against LGIM. Just judging by this performance and obviously his last one as well, that could be a decent idea for game number 2. Yeah. However this one goes. And that brings us to over a 5,000 gold lead now. And if it was, I mean, it was still pretty close. It was hanging around about 2,000, but it just showed you how quickly that kind of thing can really change around. And now Anexis find themselves on the back foot, but now it wouldn't be the first time we've seen a team come back from a potentially losing position.
They are in a losing position. They're not super far behind. If they have another fight go like that, you'll get to the point where LJM can kind of tank out the ult chains. But the only fights you've seen LJM win so far have been winning because they've been simply picking off a kill early on and getting themselves ahead by bursting someone out and then following up on basically what's a 4v3 or a 5v4. If Anexis can actually fight a battle properly, I think they're still in pretty good position.
There are the wards, defensive wards coming out from Nunu, which won't going to mean anything because there's that Oracle that we talked about before. And now they're looking for the second inner turret of the game after that bottom turret, of course, was taken there. He's cursed to the side from his Zyra ultimate's going to come down as a counter. Bullet time not really landing where they would have wanted it to. Xanthus actually focusing in towards Lasher. We can see that Wukong is going to get the knock up. Ezreal ulti comes across. Celiva will surely die here. He is going to try and get away, but Misfortune will fall as well. And now only a Mumu stands. And this is a 4-for-1. Here comes Ryan, flashes over, and it's the ace picked up in the end by Ring.
And there we go, LGIM just putting on amazing team fight after amazing team fight. And their tanky front line takes a whole lot of damage. A Lilac fell over despite a Sunfire Cape. A Warmogs, a Cho'Gath got dropped down to about a quarter. Mid King, pretty tanky himself, got dropped down low. And so you saw the damage come across Incredible Miracle. It took a lot of damage through them, but they had just a few too many items. They tanked it out, and they got themselves in a really good spot.
And wow, Nunu got ulti there, try and force Paragon away, but in the end could have ended up going down himself, to be honest, if Ezreal would have stuck around. Obviously didn't want to risk anything at that point. They're quite happy with taking the first inhibitor turret of the game. And there we can see again the gold now creeping up to 9,000 there or thereabouts. More like 8,000 if I could count, but still.
But counting is over. Actually, it's
it is actually 9.
Yeah, but
see, if I didn't doubt myself, I would be even better at this.
It's okay. And honestly, it's not even counting though. It's arithmetic. Yes. So English apparently not your strong suit either. But it's okay. We'll move on. We've got a Nexus here, 9,000 gold behind, 8 kills down as well. They're looking for a way to get themselves back into this game. They've not lost the inhibitor, so they can actually dance around Baron successfully without losing their base, as a result from this dancing. Lasha, I think it's a brand new Oracle Swarm as well. They're going to sort of keep the map control game coming through here, and I think that's a very good choice. LGIM, I mean, they have the better fights. They just need good positioning. So denying ward coverage and kind of exploding out of the fog of war, that's really good for them.
Yeah, you're right. That is a brand new Oracle as we see in this middle area. Are they going to try and close around them here? They've got no turrets right back to the inhibitor, but as we do see Ezreal and Zyra coming up the side, actually Anexis did back right off in towards the base again. And look at the wards down currently for LGIM. They have covered the Anexis side of the map.
And that's just what they kind of want to do, is make sure that there are no tricks whatsoever. A random initiating out of nowhere with a 5-man Amami ultimate or 5-man Wukong ultimate would spell disaster.
Well, here comes Overpower. Actually will put Curse to the side, Mummy down, but look at how quickly he's destroyed there. The Zyra ulti actually won't be landing on where they wanted it to, but they've taken a Mumu out of the equation. That could be enough here. Arkwell going very, very low. Will flash. Lilac moving in there. Lilac does get that finishing touch, and that is again a 3 for 0. And look at the health of LGIM. They hardly took any. There is a surrender vote coming in, and LGIM going to take down Anexis here in game number 1 of the Intel Extreme Masters Brazil.
Excellent play by them. There they are on your screen, and they look half relieved and just half determined. They're just like, Ring didn't even have a facial expression there. He was like, yeah, we won. And just looked at his monitor and was like, all right, what's next? What's coming up next? Another game? Okay, no problem. Very, very well played by them. Excellent showing, kind of clinical in their approach there. Just very, very good engages. And, you know, I'm going to talk about Ring a whole lot because I think he really keyed off and made most of those mid-game team fights victories, landing the crowd controls over and over onto Overpow or landing them onto Celeber and getting the feats down to kill him off before they could ult really opened up most of the fights in the mid-game.
So yeah, I mean, if you've got such a AoE dependent team, an AoE silence is like God's gift to you if you can land it.
Exactly. Cho'Gath was just the best pick there. They couldn't really, unfortunately, use the Zaxxas split push very much. Arkwell was actually jumped on so much by Lilac that he wasn't able to do a whole lot of fighting.
So we're going to be throwing it over here shortly to the experts. There's quite a lot of incredible play there from LGIM. We're going to throw it over there and they'll break down game number 1.
Well then, game 1 done in 23:37. Not quite lead time, but pretty good. And the fastest of the entire tournament so far, admittedly under a surrender vote, but it wasn't going to be anything other than a win. And difficult, really, to pull anything out of that from Anexis, because actually, for 18 minutes of the game, guys, it was pretty even, and it was backwards and forwards on the kills. The turrets were close, gold was close. We're going to show you a replay, actually, around about 18 minutes 23, and it was 4 all in kills. It was 4-2 in turret, and there was only a couple of K difference. But this was the big team fight, Jason, that changed things for them.
Yes, it was. So when we get that on the screen, we'll go ahead and start that for you. I should go a little bit slow mode here because we have to point out it is a 4-on-4. We have Misfortune at the top lane. We have Zinzao on the top as well. The thing is, Misfortune, I was talking about this during the picks and bans, they're lacking a lot of damage. Without Misfortune there, you're pretty much missing all of your damage. And because of that, because this engage, which is a perfectly timed engage on LGIM's part, they take that little victory and they take the rest of the game from it. So, get a nice knockup, nice Ezreal ulti, gonna hit 2 of them, and your Riv, you were saying right here, the Paragon.
It was a cleanse here, wasn't it?
It's a cleanse, yeah, a perfect cleanse to actually keep that DPS coming in. He even pops that outgrade shift just to get away. I mean, Celeber, he's the only one there to do damage, and he dies. He can't even do anything. As you look right now, Mid King was the focus of their damage between Shen, Nunu, and Amumu, but it didn't even matter. And then, of course, Ring with that very nice, very nice. Rupture.
So, yeah, I mean, that was pretty much it. And the interesting thing, of course, is that was actually 18 to 19 minutes, okay? And yet, 4 minutes later, game over. That's how quickly things snowballed for LGIM.
Well, that's how quickly when through 2 consecutive games you have about a 19-0 and 18 rise. Mid King has not gone down in the past 2 games, and that means huge things. And he actually didn't get first blood this time. He had some trouble in mid lane. He didn't get the CS he wanted, but then out of nowhere he was 2-0-2. The rod was finished. He did the Glacial Shroud and the Giant's Belt again. He started to build the items that would keep him tanky for the entire team and whatever would mitigate that the offensive team. So just huge plays the Mid King right now, and he is really, really playing up to his name.
And the problem now, Jason, is that bans become a bit of a problem, because I was saying, well, then just ban Jace, Rumble, and Rise, and then they should be good. But then they've got so many other champion choices.
But just like Gambit Gaming, you can't ban out. You can't completely ban them out. You should have to kind of guide them or force them into a certain kind of composition you want to fight or to play against. But the thing is, Anexis banned out the same composition that they lost against last time. They had a new composition to go up against and lost the same, pretty much. I mean, it's a little bit closer, but still in the end, it was very one-sided. And the thing is, I mean, do you need to ban Rise out? Of course. Do you need to ban also, the 18 other champions they play? Yeah.
Well, there's your answer. It's not going to happen right now for Anexis, and they need probably a bit more than a wing and a prayer. They lost in the group stage, and at the time it was the fastest time of that group stage game. They've now lost in 23:37, which is the fastest time of the entire tournament, and it's happened here in the grand final. So, other than a prayer, what else can they do, Riff, to try and turn this around?
Well, Paul, we saw the surrender, right? And I'm going to poke at you here, being the manager of teams, seeing, possibly your team back in the day in this situation. The surrender kind of means they're mentally focused on what they need to do next time. You kind of push it under the table. Yep. But where does that put you? Are you on your heels, or are you actually ready for the next game?
Well, I think that the funny thing is that they've been in this position already this weekend. In the semi-final, they were 1 down against Millennium. I think I'd be reminding them of that and saying, look, you guys have got resilience. You can come back from this. It's the grand final. Anything can happen. And you've already done it in the semi-final, so why not do it again?
Right.
It's that practice approach, if you like. If you've done it once, you know you can do it.
Yeah, it's like a normal game.
Yeah.
To me though, they kind of got outplayed on mechanics. I mean, we saw the lane swap. They put Shen bot lane against that Ezreal Zyra combo. Shen got destroyed. I mean, his turret was gone very early on, and the top lane, it was the complete opposite. We saw, Misfortune. We saw Nunu trying to get to that turret, but they couldn't. They had the ability to push it with, the Blood Boil, but they couldn't do it because of the Jin Zhao. And it seemed like a mechanic problem that you don't want to do that, kind of lane switch. And I would be assuming this time they're not going to fall for that same kind of trap and maybe keep it a little bit more normal, or a little bit more of how they play it normally.
Right. Well, thank you very much.
That made no sense.
I think I got it anyway.
More of a comfort zone for them.
That's it from the analysis test for now. We're going to take a very short break. When we come back, it will be map 2. Can LGIM close it out, or can Anexis make a comeback?